What's up, everybody? This is DDS, and this is the video that you all have been asking about. Well, I'm not gonna say you all, but a lot of people have been asking me about how do I do my arrangements in Machine. They've been needing help with it, whether it's from my comments on YouTube, my emails, or my one-on-one sessions that I have. The most common thing is arranging with Machine and doing it inside of Machine. So in this video, I'm gonna go through and break it down the way that I do it. It's gonna be in depth, and hopefully you guys learn from it. And if you need more help with that, we can have a one-on-one session, whatever, just hit me up. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. What I have here is a beat that I just started. I wanted to start off fresh, so that way you see what it's like when I make a beat. Now, when I make a beat, my arrangement usually starts with before I even put everything together. All of this is my arrangement. Like, let me try to figure out how to break this down real quick. Everything right here is under scene one. I'm in ideas view, and basically you set up your patterns and your groups. Now, to make it easier for you all, what I do is I label my patterns. So I'll sit here and say, let me see what this sound is. Okay, I know that's my keys. So I go right here, drop keys, and then I'll put the key that is in F minor, so that way I remember that for later. Okay, and then this, hear what this sound is. Okay, that's the strings. So I just go add strings right here. And then from there, I go over and see what this is. I already know this is my 808, so I'm just gonna put 808 there. So that makes it even better. So that way I don't have to guess which group is which and all of that. And from there, what I do, sorry about that. All right, so from there, what I do is I usually arrange it like my main sounds are usually on this side, followed by the drums. And then my 808, that's just something that I like to do. And as you see, I had to transition. The drums are already labeled because it came from a drum kit that I made. And then the transition, I keep the transition I keep the transition saved, so that way I don't have to add the effect and everything that I usually put on it. It's already saved, so that way I don't have to do that over and over again. All right, so as I was saying, the arrangement usually starts before I even get to the point of doing the actual arrangement. What I do is, let me mute everything except for my piano, for example. So I'm gonna go to pattern one. Oh, I'm on the wrong group. Let me go. Okay, go to pattern one. Okay, so that's just. So what I would do with that is say that that's just the pattern of the keys when the beat is when it's in the verse part, so it doesn't need everything. So that's gonna be for the verse, and then for the hook I'm gonna have it come like this. And then to make that even better, I could just go up here and rename this verse. Oops. And then change this one to hook if I want to, or I'll just call it full because it has more piano to it. And then the strings, I only have one pattern under that, so I don't worry about that. The drums, you can label them however you want to. I have different like patterns. I could play them real quick. Play pattern one. Let me set that back real quick. Pattern one. Actually, for the sake of this video, I am going to label everything just so that way you guys, it'll make it easier for the flow. So I'll just put outro right here. Put V1A for verse 1A. V1A. V1B. Hook. V2A. Sorry about that. I don't know why I froze there for a second. V2B. All right, my 808. I'll just call this pattern full because it has more movement. And then I'll call this one I'll just leave that one how it is. I don't need to rename it. And then I already know my different variations of my transition, so I'm good on that. So now from here, what I look at it as, well, first off, let me make sure I have all my drum patterns to 16 because I am working in double time. So I'm gonna put them all at 16 bars for the pattern length. So as you see, I'm just holding down the pattern button and hitting double on the MK3. All right, so now the way that I break these down, because some people think that like if I were to throw other scenes up here, that the only thing that plays under those scenes is whatever's under it, and that's not the case. Coming from a Logic or FL Studio where everything is more linear or going straight across, you would think that. But in this situation, I look at this as if it's a folder. Each scene to me is a piece of the song. Like it's like a piece of the puzzle. The whole song is a puzzle. Every scene is a piece of the puzzle. So scene 1 may be my intro. So I will work on that just by going like intro. Well, you know what? Let me delete this scene real quick so that way I start fresh. So I'm gonna start it with my intro because that's how I like to start my beats, with an intro. What do I want for my intro? I'm gonna say I want the piano that's not full, with the keys that's not full. I'll do the strings and then the first part of my transition. And then let me hear what it sounds like. Okay, that's a little slow, so I might throw this on here. So I'll do that, but now that throws off the length of the pattern, but I'll fix that later. That's not the length of the scene, I'll fix that later. So from there, what I do is I'll duplicate it. So I want my hook to come in after that. If you want your verse to come in after that, you make the change for your verse to come in after that. And I'm doing all of this on the computer because it's a lot faster to me to do it that way. I switch scenes and stuff using the MK3, and I do the rest on my computer. I used to do it with the Jam, but right now, since my MK3 is right here, well, not MK3, MK2 of the complete control is right here, I'm doing it on the computer, but I can do it right here too. It's not like if I wanted to switch this pattern around right here, I know for that I want the full keys on, so let me go right there. Then let me go to my drum group and then switch to my hook drums. And then let me go to my 808 and put my full 808 on there. And then let me change my transition to pattern 2. And then now, so just to show you that I could do it. So then from there, I would label this one the hook. All right, so then I'm gonna duplicate that pattern. Now I'm gonna change it back to the verse. So what do I want on the verse that's different? Let me take the keys back. I'm gonna pull I'm gonna leave the strings going that time. I'm gonna take the verse. I'm gonna switch the drums to verse 1A, excuse me. Take the 808 out by double clicking. Take my transition out by double clicking. So now let me move over and hit duplicate again. Now I'm gonna drop down V1B for verse 1B, and I might put this 808 in just because it hits, and then put my second transition in. I'm gonna change this to V1A for verse 1A. And I'm gonna change this one to V1B for this one. So now, oops, let me remove this. I did that on accident. So now it's time for the hook to come back in. I don't need to make another hook scene because the hook scene is already set. So I don't need to go back and change it and put it over here. So now I need to make my verse 2. So I'm just going to duplicate this pattern, take my transition off for that part. I'm gonna take the 808 off of there, and then verse 2A, I'm gonna change my keys to this one. Now I'm gonna go over here, duplicate that, verse 2B, and then from there I'm going to put in, I'll do my full 808s on that one just because it's the ending of the verse and the last verse. So I'm gonna go change this to V2A. I don't know why I keep looking away when I'm doing that. V2A. Then I'm gonna change this one to V2B. And I really don't even label my stuff like this. I'm doing it for the sake of this video, but because usually I already have it set up. I want everybody to understand like the little difference and get the details so that way you can make it work however you want it to work. So now I'm just gonna make an outro for it. So I'm just gonna put this here, and I might use this 808, and I'm gonna take the strings off and then switch back to that pattern, and then I'm gonna name this outro. Now, before you used to have to arrange it the linear way, which is what I call song. I don't know if that's the proper term for a song mode, which was this way. And you have to go in each scene and drop the patterns, but you don't have to do that now. So go back over here. And what I'm going to do while scene is highlighted. And if you guys don't have your scene button like pinned where it stays when you hit scene, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and unpin it because you have to hold scene down in order to do this stuff. But you hit scene and then hit the scene right here, and that's going to pin it there, so that way you do not have to keep pushing the button or holding the button. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit append right here, and then I'm just going to go in the order I want the song to go in. So I want my intro, my hook, verse 1A, verse 1B, hook, verse 2A, verse 2B, hook, my outro. Now I'm going to hit shift and scene, and then it should show you the linear version on the what I call song mode on the MK3 hardware. I'm sorry about that. So when you click right here, you go right here and you see everything is now arranged the way you had it. Now, like I said, where I said my by me putting the outro drums at the intro, it was going to make my pattern longer because it was 16 bars. So what I'm going to do is go right here and then change the length of my scene down to 8, cut it in half, and I'm gonna do the same thing for the outro. So now from here, the song should pretty much be good to go. Let me play it real quick just to make sure. Let me save it. Always remember to save though. Always save. So I'm about to play it and hear what it sounds like, and we'll see if it's fully arranged. As you see, I skipped through it at the end, but as you can see, the song is arranged, and yeah, that's really how I do it, and that's how I break it down. And it's not that hard once you get the hang of it. I understand coming from Logic where everything is going across this way, or FL Studio where everything is going across this way. I really hope when I was saying linear, I was saying the right word though. I really hope that, but if I didn't, I apologize. But coming from that, I can see how this the way this scenes and pattern is set up could be kind of intimidating and confusing, but it's really the same. It's just you have to select what you want in there. Like one thing I do with some of my beats is I start them over. All you have to do is like, when I say start them over, I mean it's something like something like that. And the way I do that is just playing around with the scene length. Like if I wanted to make a transition and I felt that, like if I just wanted to put one thing in here, like in the middle, I would just put another scene there and then just change the length for it to match however long I want it to match. Little things like that. Now I know it would be dope to have some features where you might be able to just drop stuff up here for transitions and whatnot that's not necessarily tied to a pattern or anything. That may come in the future. I'm not 100% sure, but that would be dope. But I mean, outside of that, once you get the hang of this, it's pretty easy. And it's set up like the Machine Jam with Ideas View. And I feel like Ideas View or Ideas Mode is really helpful when it comes to arranging your track. And then on top of that, the changes that you make, like if you go back over here and go like to hook, and if I change it to something else, it will change the hooks on here, like just change it. So if I wanted to experiment with something new, all I have to do is go back to the hook thing right here drop whatever or add a new group and then just play around with it and see what happens. So that's it for this arrangement video. Hopefully this video was helpful. I had so many questions about doing an arrangement video. How do you turn the loop into a song? How do you do all that? So hopefully this was helpful. If you didn't get it the first time, maybe you would just study this video and hopefully it'll help. And then if you need even more help with that or want to go in depth or learn anything else, you can always hit me up and we could book a one-on-one session where we go over Skype and we break everything down however you need it broken down to you. I appreciate everybody for watching this video. I appreciate all the support. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope this was helpful. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching again. Take care.